1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 19. The words of Rabbi Pauline. Circumcision is nothing and uncircumcision is nothing. Keeping God's commands is what counts. What is the great Rabbi doing? Is he now tearing down the gospel of grace which he preached, now putting us under the commands of God? Or is there such a thing as grace is law? For grace to be effective, the law must run its course to the fullest, so that we have the beginning of grace and we have the day that grace has run its course also. Grace can never be understood except the law precedes it first. In other words, as the rabbi says that the law was your master. This is the same man who said that with his mind he served the law of God and with his body he serves the law of sin. That there is a law at work and that law is the law of sin. Then how do we then reconcile to grace? For an example, here in South Africa, we have something we call grace period for drivers, for motor drivers. Grace period only kicks in when you have an expired license. Now, what does that mean? This means that the law recognizes that your license has expired and you are no longer worthy to drive. When you drive a motor vehicle, you are a transgressor of the law. However, the 21 days grace period, though you are a transgressor, you are seen as a law doer. When you meet a law official or a traffic officer, the traffic officer will inspect your license and see that it has expired. But because you are in a grace period, they will not pass on judgment or make the law of arrest or even pass on a fine to you because you are still under the grace. You are a transgressor because your disc has expired, but you are still valid to drive because the grace has dictated it. Grace is a law which closes the mouth of the judgment. But like I said, grace period for drivers is 21 days. In other words, there's a day that grace period began for Christians. There's a day that grace period will have run its course. During the time of grace period, then you must make sure that you reconcile with the law. In other words, Christ makes us right before God. What is before God? Before the law. You are a law doer through Christ. When God sees you, He does not see a transgressor. He sees the one who has fulfilled the law. May the peace of Yah be with you. Enjoy this grace of Yah, because a day of judgment has been set by the Father.